Everybody, here we are. I've got my little area prepared for putting down the first row of vegetable seed here. This is kind of how we do things because well, we don't have all the fancy equipment yet. We're just kind of getting started out. So I put down this string and I follow it along. And yeah, I use an earthway seeder for the majority of the things that fit in that thing. And last year was my first year using it and I loved it. It makes things go by pretty fast. So yeah, I shouldn't be too long planting a few things, but I kind of rake up each area that I'm going to be working in, and then I plant and then I kind of move over. I have gotten this whole section up to the posts there ready to be planted, and then on the other side I need to go rake out rocks and everything and get that cleaned up. But I'm going to plant this first section here today and then work on the other part. It's super windy out here today, so that's a little bit annoying, but I'm going to work on the other part afterwards and get it all cleaned up and ready to plant that as well. I'm not sure that we'll actually be planting it, but we're going to get what we can in this side here today and start with that. Here we are, all set up now. I went and got the earthway seeder, and then these pigtail things you can see back here, they're for like fence for the cattle. We just have tons and tons of them that aren't being used, so I'm going to use them to mark things out in the garden this year. Last year I used these wooden markers. Terrible idea. They basically disintegrated in the rain. Well, by the end of the year they were just nowhere to be found. So yeah, so I'm going to use these. But anyways, I'll give you guys a look at the earthway seeder here and kind of show you that whole get up. And then yeah, I'm going to get planted here, the first row. So here we are. All right, so here's the earthway seeder. You can just order them online. I'm pretty sure that I got this one from Lee Valley. Yeah, pretty sure that's where I ordered it from. Anyways, and it comes with, when you buy the kit or the one online, it comes with 6 different plates, and each of these plates is meant for planting different size seeds. So it comes with those. You can also order, I do believe, like extra ones online for things that you may specialty things that may not come in these here. So yeah, it's pretty handy. It's got this little cultivator on the bottom, and then the chain on the back there covers up the seeds with the soil. You can set the little cultivator for the depth that you want the seeds, and yeah, it works out pretty dreamy. So that was a bit of a game changer for us last year. Small but mighty, and you can honestly get bigger ones. Like there's, I don't know the brand name, but I do see other market gardeners that have bigger ones. I think they're called Jung cedars, and then they can plant like 4 rows at once or something. And I mean, that would be amazing for us one day, but just not in the cards for us financially right now. Yeah, we, like as I've said before, we kind of have to do things slowly and as I can afford them. So yeah, that's just kind of how it is. I mean, every year that I sell veggies and flowers, it definitely helps add a few new things to the garden. And yeah, so hopefully we can get something a little bit bigger in the future. But for now, this works out fine. Honestly, like we don't have a bunch of acres yet. I mean, I'd love to get to like 2 or 3 acres at some point. Right now we're farming 1/4 of an acre of garden space here, so this works out fine. The first rows are in the ground. It was a little rusty getting down that line there. Just making sure that the seeder was dumping out seeds, and then it wasn't. And I don't know where it stopped, so then I ended up planting a few in there by hand down the row. But then when I got to the leeks, and did the leeks, I was watching very closely and it was working just fine. So as you can see behind me here, there's the little stakes in the ground, and they don't have to stay there forever. But basically just while we're getting, you know, things planted here the next few weeks, I just need to kind of know where my rows are at until things pop up. So I have it pretty marked out right now. But they don't need to necessarily be there. But I mean, who knows? If I get them out, I get them out, whatever. But for now, I have there's just all the way down the row. So where it changes into leeks. And honestly, I have to do this because I have to maximize every inch of space that I have in the garden to be able to grow enough produce to fulfill our subscriptions. So this is just how it's going to be going. And I mean, it's a little challenging, but you know what? It is what it is. It just has to be this way. So that's whatever. So here I have my little sheet of what's going down. I have my garden plans on here too. Anyhow, excuse the wind. Anyways, in the black there at the top, that's exactly what I planted, how many rows, the variety that I've planted. And then on the kind of my master copy, which is definitely handwritten because that's my jam, I will put exactly what I did, where the seeds came from and all that stuff, just to keep track of what grows really good and what doesn't grow very good and where the seeds came from. So that is exactly what's happening here. This wind is actually driving me a little bit crazy, so I may not plant too much more here today until the wind goes down, if it does, which it might a little bit later. I'm not too sure, but there's seeds that are flying everywhere and it's just not that pleasant. So what I might do is just keep working on getting the rest of the garden ready and like rototill, rake, get it cleaned up, because this is just it's a bit much for me. So that's what I'm going to work on here for the next little bit. I'm going to go and feed our little calf buddy and then have some lunch with Mark. I can hear that he got back. He's just unloading bales. And then I'll get cleaning up the rest of the garden and tilling up what I need to till up to get it ready for more planting. Hi, little pepper. Hi. Are you so hungry? Hey. Well, you guys, I have gotten so much planted in the garden so far this weekend, and it's making me very excited. Yeah, I got quite a bit here. Behind me, you can see way in the distance the garlic, and then which way do I go? Oh yeah, over there. I planted out some rudbeckia. I'm really gambling with this because it's just the beginning of May and it's like crazy that I'm even doing it, but I really wanted to see if it makes it. So wish me luck on that, you guys. I've also planted actually out some celery and some leeks too, so we'll have to see if they make it. I'm leaving tomorrow to head back home to the beach, and we'll have to see if they make it when I get back here next weekend, if they're all still standing or if it got too cool at night or whatever. But I just had to try. Like, the weather's just taunting me, so I just had to do it. I'm not doing a lot. I've put out a few things, but I just had to see. So guess we'll have to see what's still here next weekend, or maybe they're looking wonderful and amazing and fabulous. Well, everyone, we have had such an awesome, productive weekend out here at the farm. I knew it was going to be crazy busy because the temperature was supposed to be perfect and it's been drying up so nicely. So I had all these intentions of doing this big video about like what we're planting and why and blah blah blah. And as I was out there planting over the course of the weekend, I was thinking, like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna have a little real talk on this video about gardening, and you know, just yeah, like, people should do it. And I think people are quite intimidated by, you know, trying something new. It can seem so overwhelming because there's a million reasons, there's a million ways to do the same thing. So like, you know, how I plant my tulips may not be the way that somebody else plants their tulips, and you know, you can read in a book to do it this way, you can watch it online, you can do it this way, and there's so many ways to do just one simple task. So gardening can be super overwhelming. And you know, I was just thinking, you know, if you're thinking about gardening or wanting to grow something or to, you know, plant a seed of some kind, just do it. Doesn't matter if you think you know how to do it right, or if you have the right soil, or if you have the right, you know, space requirements. Hey, boo-boo. Thank you. Okay. Go lay down. Charlie boy, go lay down. Go lay down. Hey, go. Get. Charlie, go lay down. Get out of here. Go. Turkey. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah, as I was out there just doing my own thing, you know, thinking about all the things that I'd like to, you know, get, and equipment and things that I, you know, would make my life so much easier. I thought, if I had waited around for all those things to show up before I started gardening, I still wouldn't be gardening. So my real talk is, if you want to do it, just get out there and do it. Just plant something, anything, whether it's flowers or veggies or anything. Like, if you want to start indoor plants or whatever, just, you know, like, get a little bit of dirt and plant a seed and just try it out. You know, it can be so complex, and it can become it's so intense with there's so much information out there. And I think it's important that we just keep it simple and we just get out there and do it. You know, a lot of things we do around here at the farm still, well, not farming wise, but as far as the garden goes, like, you know, I do it with a little earthway seeder and a handheld cultivator and things like that are, you know, pretty basic ways to grow a ton of produce and flowers. And so I do it pretty bare bones. I mean, of course, I'd love to have all these amazing tools and equipment that would make my life a lot easier, but that's just not practical because all those things cost money, and you have to, you know, build up your farm or build up your garden and save for those things. So we do it pretty basic around here, and you know, we learn as we go too. Like, every year I learn something. Like, I learn so much every year. It is insane. Like, you know, sometimes I grow too much of one thing, not enough of the other thing. I end up throwing so much stuff into the compost. You know, there's just like all kinds of things that I learn every year, but I never ever let that discourage me from wanting to grow and evolve in the next year. So I just really wanted to have some real talk, you know, about just, I think it's so important for us to connect with Mother Nature and to put our hands in the dirt and to, like, just really feel it, and just to ground ourselves. I think it's such an important part of life. So if you're thinking about wanting to grow something or get in the garden, I think you should just do it. Like, honestly, it'll bring you so much joy. It can be frustrating, but you know, there's so much to learn with it. So just get out there and get into the dirt and do it. And you know what? This video is going to be a little bit short today because I've been so busy in the garden doing stuff and checking cows and feeding cows and all that good stuff that I didn't have time to take a lot of footage. So anyways, if you have any questions about gardening or want to chat about anything, please feel free to comment. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe, you share it to everybody, and get out there and get gardening.